Okay, Regina, what you're looking at is the kind of the back end of your credit report. You see your three scores: Experian 593, TransUnion 502, and Equifax 537. And I think I might have told you your Equifax was above 600. I apologize if I did that. Obviously, I was getting you confused with another credit report. So I apologize for that. So we've got three, these are your three scores right now. So what we want to try to do is find ways to get those scores up as quickly as possible. So what we're going to first do is go into the simulator and take a look at Experian first. And I'm going to go through this as quickly as possible because I've already done it. I've already run it through to see what I can do. And so now I'm just going to kind of show you how we're going to look at this. The first thing I'm going to do is look at the revolving accounts, i.e. credit card accounts. And that's where I'm going to go first. You see that some of them have been charged off, which means that the creditor has basically wrote them off as a bad debt and basically given up on trying to collect. And so first thing we're going to do is look at what paying those off would do. And we see we get a few points by doing that. You can actually try to settle with them and see if that, helps you. They can settle for less than they owe, and you can get that benefit. And then this one here is in good standing, so we're going to pay that one down to $10, not to zero. All right, so you see by those three things, we do go from 593 to 625. And so we do have a score that's above 620 on the Experian model now, and that's just by attacking these three credit lines. Okay, now you might say, well, what if I pay off my collections? Wouldn't that help? So we're going to simulate doing that at the 477, and it does not help you. Let's see if there's an aggregate benefit from paying them both down. And we see that I hate that. Okay, well, it doesn't help you. It actually hurts you. So do not pay off your look at that. Partially paying it off helps. Wow. I did that by accident. Hold on. Come on. All right, 2279. If you paid it off completely, it drops your score down to 619. If you paid it off partially, let's just put 1500 in there, it doesn't do anything. If you left a small balance, you get a few. This crazy. I wouldn't mess with it. It's too much money for too little benefit. As the saying I just heard, the juice has got to be worth the squeeze, and in this case it's not. All right, so let's put the 400 back on here too. Oh, excuse me, that wasn't right. That was 817. Okay, the 400 was on this one, so let's put that back on there. All right, so we're going to pay this off, and now we're back up to 625. So the only other option on this would be to employ a credit repair service. I do not endorse any credit repair service as the end all and the panacea. Some of them are honest and can do a good job. If you would like to talk with one, I can refer you to one who will be honest with you, and they'll do the best they can. There is no guarantee, but they'll kind of tell you if they think they've got a good shot at it. So what would happen if if these collections were removed? You see your actual score goes down if that's actually removed, as if it never happened, which is really odd. But sometimes there's an aggregate benefit if they got them all removed. So you see removing both of those takes you up to 656. Was this one over here, the T-Mobile, was it a silver bullet? So I'm going to leave this one alone and leave this one deleted. And you can see that this is the main one. And so this was not an aggregate impact, but this was more or less the silver bullet here, is this T-Mobile. So if they could remove the T-Mobile, then you can see your scores substantially go up to 655. So that's where we are on Experian. If you employed a credit repair service, you might as well go ahead and try to get them to get rid of Verizon too, even though it doesn't really help your score. It's nice to get that stuff off your credit report if they could. All right, so I'm just going to kind of let you look at that. to get you above 620, it was pay down Capital One, pay down or pay off Capital One, pay off Open Sky, because those were the two charge offs, and then pay the Self Financial down to $10. And then if you wanted to go for the Gusto and Employee Credit Repair Service, it's getting rid of the T-Mobile. And if they can get rid of Verizon Wireless, all the better. Okay. And you can contact me and I can put you in touch with the guys at Sterling Group and see if they can help you. All right. So now what we're going to do is go to TransUnion. And since we have something that we know works on Experian, we're going to replicate that on TransUnion with the items that are alike. Some creditors don't report to certain bureaus and others do, so it may look a little differently on TransUnion. The first thing we got to do is remove the disputes, because your disputes have to be removed because they're not actually being reflected in the algorithm that's determining your score when it's disputed. So a lender makes you remove the dispute so they can really see what your credit score really looks like. So we have to see if it takes your score down by removing the disputes. In this particular case, it did not. So the first thing we're going to do, this has some items on it that were not reflected on your Experian model. So first thing I'm going to do is look for for the like accounts. So we had the one from Capital One. So we're going to do the same thing we did on the other one, and we're going to pay that off, and we get down to 640. Now we're going to pay this one down to $10, just like we did on Experian, and we're still at 640. And then finally pay off the Open Sky, and we're at 540. So we're not getting, we got 38 points, but we started from 502. So we got a long way to go. So now let's look at paying down some of the other revolving accounts. Let's go ahead and pay this one all the way down to $20. And you see that did pick up some points. We're going to pay this one down to $20 or $2. Either way, it's going to be this. It's going to be the same. Man, this is very frustrating. $2 or $20 is going to give us the same score. All right. 574. So by paying off the revolving accounts and paying down the revolving accounts and paying off the charge-offs, we go from 502 to 574, which is a substantial increase, but we have so far to go. So we look at the collections, and again, we can look at paying them off, and I guarantee we got some points there for paying that off, but that was $2,200. So again, the juice is not worth the squeeze on that one. And then here was another one, paying that down to 0, and we get nothing. So we really don't want to pay down these collections because it costs so much and you get so little for it. I mean, you would pay down over $5,000 and get nothing for it. So this is where, if you did decide to use the credit repair service, and we only have one bureau that's at that's above 620, and you can't get above 620 without using credit repair service to get rid of some of these collections, then we might want to see what would happen if these were deleted. So I'm going to go through deleting these, and let's just see what we get for deleting these. Now, again, this is aggregate. So see, if they were successful in removing all of them, which is a tall order, you're at 644. And in a couple of months, you're probably even higher. Yeah, you go to 666. So there is no way to get you to a qualifying score on TransUnion without using a credit repair service and getting all of these accounts deleted. Okay. Now we can do that on Experian, but we're going to need another bureau. All right. So now what we're going to do is go to Equifax, and we're going to run the same scenario in Equifax. First thing we're going to do is remove the disputes. And you see that we do get a drop in score by removing all three disputes. So we're starting at 525. So we're going to do the same thing that we did on TransUnion. We're going to pay down the credit cards. You have to bear with me with this thing. It's so temperamental. All right, so we actually lost points by paying that one down, but still want to do it because we're going to get an aggregate benefit here, and it worked well on the other one. So now we're up to 548. So now we're going to pay this one off. We're up to 564. We're going to pay this one down to $10. All right, we're going to pay this charge off. This is a first premier. This is a different charge off. We're going to pay that off. Now we're up to 569. You see some creditors don't report to certain bureaus. That's why you're getting different accounts show up. That's also why you have different credit scores. All right, so by doing everything that you know to do, as far as paying down all of the revolving accounts, you go to 579, which doesn't help us. I mean, it certainly helps us get us closer, and we need to do that. So now we're going to have to deal with the collections. So you only have the Verizon collection. That's the only collection showing up on the Equifax. So that's the only one we've got to deal with, is the Equifax. So if we paid this off, bet you we get nothing. Oh, we got something. We got up to 604. All right, but by deleting it, we go to 604. Either way, that's usually odd. Paying them off usually doesn't help you. On Equifax, it did. So the best you can do on Equifax, even with the credit repair service, is 604. Is 604 better than 537? Absolutely. Is there a shot at getting qualified at 604? There is, but it is remote. So your best bet, it looks to me, is to go with TransUnion. You know, we use TransUnion. We use this strategy on TransUnion and Experian, and you're going to have to see if a credit repair service can remove some of these items and get your scores up. And then I can show you how to use your credit cards from here on out. That's going to raise your score some too. But you just have to talk to the credit repair service because really there is no other quick route. And when I say there's no other quick route, there's no guarantee that that's a quick route either. It could take 3 or 4 months, if at all. It's just one of those things where you have to weigh the cost and the benefit and say, hey, it's worth the risk to go after it. You know, because if they are successful, then it was well worth it. And if they remove some of them and get some of those collections off, it could justify your fee that they charge. So a lot of times we do these things, and even deleting them doesn't help. And so, as a matter of fact, most of the time, 60 to 70% of the people we do really, I should say 50% really don't benefit from credit repair. But in your case, you do. All right. Hope that helps. Certainly you'll have questions. Call me and we can answer any questions that you might have. Okay. All right. Thanks, Regina.